So then to have arguably the most powerful man in the world who is sending me things about, using his space technology in the election. And then on election night itself, Elon, left Mar-a-Lago early. I was at Mar-a-Lago and he told me over text, he's like, yeah, I knew hours ago that Trump won. My team has the best real-time data anywhere. First of all, how the fuck do you have real-time data on elections? How do you have real-time data?
Greetings, my BPPN family. Welcome to Bold Perspectives Network. I'm Mr. Red. I saw this video yesterday from Kyle Kalinske on Elon Musk's baby mama. Her name is Ashley Sinclair, I believe. And what she said, she hinted at Elon knew what was going to happen at the election. Matter of fact, this is something that I've talked about on this channel, and I've even had people get mad at me because I don't say that Trump stole the election every time I get on here. And the reason why I don't do that isn't because I don't believe that there wasn't something nefarious going on. It's just that if we take it at face value, we know what I think and believe. But we have to take it at face value and assume that he won fair and square. And when we analyze from that perspective, we see that there's other issues going on in this country. But today's video is going to be us reviewing this video of Elon's baby mama talking about what she experienced with Elon and hinting at Elon maybe having something to do with the 2024 election, in which case it kind of vindicates all the things that I've said on this channel. Listen, we have much to discuss. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
And then October rolls around. And in October, Elon tells me that he is ready to release his, in his words, anomaly in the matrix. And I am like, oh, like, who's that? And he says that he has 10,000 lasers in space, referring to his satellites. I say, because I am like rather uncomfortable and I know the gravity of what he's trying to tell me right now, I say, wow, finally a focus on the Jewish vote. He keeps going and he says, this is not a piece that they'll see on the chessboard. And I straight up tell him, I say, I would ask more, but I really don't want to be deposed. To which he says, very wise. Shortly after that, he's involved with America PAC and all of this other stuff, and he's sending me some internal data from America PAC, real-time Delta vote metrics. And I am just like, how the fuck do you have this sort of data? You don't get this from door knocking, because that was one of my first jobs in politics was in campaigns and cleaning up this bad data from door knocking, because the vendors that America PAC is using at this point is a vendor that hires Craigslist crackheads for door knocking. And I wish I was exaggerating there, but I'm not. I know, I have caused harm with my rhetoric. However, I never sought out to cause harm. There were parts of me that really wanted the best for the country, for America, for democracy. And one thing is I have always hated big tech.
I mean, when you start thinking about these people who say that, I want the best for America, we have to start asking ourselves, what does that mean? If you're only looking at it for the people that that's exactly around you, not realizing that this is a country of over 330 million people, right? When you go to different parts of this country, there's different lifestyles, different ways that people behave in all the different regions. Like I've told you, I've been to Trump country. They live in these isolated bubbles. So now you have these people who have been, MAGA adjacent, Republicans, conservatives, and all of them have lost every principle that they supposedly, had. We sit here and have people that go by these labels, and these labels don't mean a damn thing. But the one thing that is truly important to this democracy and this American experiment is the fact that when we think about doing what's best for America, We have to realize that the government is there to serve the people. The government is there to make the lives of the people easier, to make the processes easier across all of these states. And that's why people like Ashley Sinclair and the people leaving MAGA, that's why people don't have sympathy. I'm not saying that we shouldn't work with these people, because we need to. But I'm saying it's going to be hard for people to trust people like this, because you thought about yourself. You really didn't think about the country as a whole.
So then to have arguably the most powerful man in the world who is sending me things about, using his space technology in the election. I should also say that I have all of this backed up with many people with explicit instructions should anything happen to me, okay?
Keep that in mind.
But this was something that I was internally wrestling with while publicly not really showing that I was having any of these internal ethical conflicts with myself regarding this information. And then on election night itself, Elon, left Mar-a-Lago early. I was at Mar-a-Lago, and he told me over text, he's like, yeah, I knew hours ago that Trump won. My team has the best real-time data anywhere. First of all, how the fuck do you have real-time data on elections? How do you have real-time data? I could not understand that. I don't know that I ever will.
Maybe the reason that Elon had the best real-time data, aside from knowing exactly what the polling machines were doing, it's the polling machines, and that's nefarious. Because how is he able to lock into those? I could only imagine the other way that Elon Musk might have real-time data is because at the different polling locations, he had inside people, that they paid people to get on the inside of the polling places so that he knew what the numbers were in real time. That's the only way I could think of it. Either he has some type of app that he can read the numbers, in which case it kind of makes sense what he said about going to jail and stuff, which we'll talk about here later. Or they paid people to be on the inside, which also doesn't shock me either.
I saw some shit, guys. Like, I saw some shit, and I'm fighting really hard to keep my voice because I saw shit that impacts everyone. And if I was self-interested, I have been offered the self-interested deal to shut up and not talk about anything. But what I can tell you is I've not been offered certain deals just because I know that he's weird, okay? I saw some shit.
So she's implying, if not outright saying there, that Elon told her that he fucked with the election and stole it for Trump. That's the not so subtle message here.
Now, is it just me, but when you look at Ashley Sinclair, didn't she talk about this shit like she was nervous, like she was scared? And I really hope that she has these backups in play, that she has what she has in play. But that should be even more disturbing, because if she does know this stuff and she does know that there has been problems with the elections and the voting, who is she supposed to go to? I mean, if these people are bold enough to go ahead and outright steal the 2024 election, who is she supposed to go to? Who is she going to tell? Because Republicans have no goddamn spine at this point. Republicans have proven that they won't go against their leader. Republicans have proven that they're a part of this. It's not shocking to me that she has seen some things. And we talked about this in previous videos. These people knew what they were doing. They knew they had cheated. I talked about it here on this channel.
Get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. I don't need any votes. We got all the votes we need. I don't need votes. We don't need votes. We got more votes than anybody's ever had. You don't have to vote. Don't worry about voting. The voting. They're cheating again. And Elon looked at us. He goes, no, you're going to win. They just don't know it yet. And about 15 minutes later, we won.
Fuck, dude. I'm fucked. If we lose, I'm fucked. It does seem that way. I'm a technologist. I know a lot about computers. And I'm like, the last thing I would do is trust a computer program.
And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So thank you to Elon.
He said, computers are the greatest. He looked at some that were just shipped in, some of these vote counting computers. He knew it before it even came in the door. He looked like at the back of it. Oh, I know that one.
You heard what I heard.
And we got the World Cup, too. And, it's only because they rigged the election that I'll be your president representing you there. I got both of them. I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. And I said, it's too bad. One was in 2026 and the other was in 2028. And I said, I won't be there. I won't be your president. And then they rigged the election and now we won. So I'm going to be your president.
And this?
Then he journeyed to Pennsylvania, where he spent like a month and a half campaigning for me in Pennsylvania. And he's a popular guy, and he was very effective. And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide. So
I'm pretty concerned by these statements. On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerning is this to you?
I think I'm freaking out.
Now, again, that's some disturbing shit. I mean, I showed you all on this channel all of these statements. You can't listen to those statements from Donald Trump and Elon and not think that something nefarious has happened. And I want to be clear to anybody who thinks that I don't believe that this thing was fixed. I have never changed my position on that. But again, when I speak on these channels, I have to speak as if they won fair and square. I have to. And there's a whole bunch of liability reasons why I have to. But today, after hearing Ashley Sinclair, I wanted to pull the receipts from the video that I made a while back on this exact same subject. I'm just as disturbed now as I was then, even more so, because now there was an opportunity. If Republicans even have a hint of knowing that this thing was in the fix, they have an obligation to do the right thing, yet they're not. And that's the disturbing part. What happened to all these principled Republicans, right? They want to tell you they're the party of family and they're the party of patriots and America. It's a bunch of gaslighting. And that's what's even more disturbing when you start thinking about the Epstein files. How many of them are in there? How many of them have compromised material on themselves? When you start thinking about Congress, a lot of them got some serious skeletons in their closet. But the biggest one that I think is holding them back is all of the money they're making. The hand over fist cash and corruption that's going on.
We all knew the Kamala won, and we knew that felon Dookie Booty cheated. Everybody knows that. We just had to go with the program because that's what they set up to do. Damn well, ain't no way in hell Trump won that election unless he cheated.
So how they won? How they won? You got to tell me how they won, because what we just did to Disney and cost them all these billions, and all of a sudden they bring them motherfuckers back. How did they win?
You didn't win, y'all. I know you see it. Ain't no way you gonna tell me that we keep having these days where millions of people hit the streets saying they don't agree with this man, but I'm supposed to believe he won back in November. I hope y'all understand the real reason why they don't want people out there protesting in mass numbers, and they keep saying that this is about hating America and all the nonsense they make up whenever these type of demonstrations are about to happen. Because the more people literally see with their eyes that millions of people don't agree with this, their little game is up. This is why they gerrymander.
I drove around to see what protests were like today. Something caught my eye. In a neighborhood around here that was very much orange supporting, or at least more orange supporting than others, in November, it was full of white people, and they were all protesting him.
Are we done with the debating on whether this thing was tampered with or not? Are we done now? Because he's saying it over and over and over and over to y'all. Over and over every day. He said another way, every day. He said another way. So now are we still arguing about whether the thing was touched or not?
Y'all know it's over for y'all, right? Like, this shit is a wrap. Like, I hope you guys are aware that pendulum is about to swing back in the worst way for y'all. At this point, it's pretty obvious to everybody in the room that either a whole lot of people have come to their senses, which I doubt, or B, those controversial voting results weren't really controversial at all. They were just wrong.
So my BPPN family, I want y'all to know that I've never wavered from my beliefs that there was a problem with the 2024 election. And my belief stemmed from kind of what we saw. Not only did the No Kings protest show me that there are more people against this man than what was said, but if you go back and think about the election itself, think about how weak and feckless Trump's rallies were, but then look at all the energy behind Kamala and her rallies. And then now all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that not only Trump had the most votes ever in the history of elections, but he did something that no one has ever been able to do. And that's win all seven swing states. It's never been done before. Trump keeps getting up and saying that we can't have mail-in ballots because mail-in ballots are cheating. Again, my theory is this. Think about what happened in 2020. We had the pandemic, and during the pandemic, people could not get out and vote, right? So we had to do mail-in ballots to kind of keep distancing for the most part. It was, I believe, the most mail-in ballots that had ever been done before. And with the mail-in ballots, they're physical receipts of elections. And so you can't really cheat on those. That's why I believe Trump sent people to go to these different states, to send the DOJ to different states to grab ballots. He tells you mail-in ballots are compromised, even though he uses mail-in ballots as well. The reason why Trump doesn't want mail-in ballots, I believe that when he says that he was cheated in 2020, I believe that this plan initially happened in 2020. And in 2016, believe it or not, I believe that the 2016 election was in a fix too. The reason why the 2020 one did not work was because of those mail-in ballots. And that's why he wants to get rid of them, because they can't tamper with the machines with the mail-in ballots. What am I saying to you? We have to have people in record numbers, so much numbers that they can't do anything about it. Fill out that mail-in ballot and send it in. And get your mail-in ballot in early, right? Those mail-in ballots have to be sent early. And I'm a little nervous about that too. To me right now, I put nothing past these people. Do you understand that if these people really did tamper with these elections, they have done T-reasonous stuff. T-reason. And we can't just sweep it under the rug and be like, well, we should forgive them. And no. If this comes out, everyone who had their finger on the scale or on the pulse, yes, they need to face harsh accountability, because we can never allow this to happen ever again. Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.